Hi, we've teamed up with UK Auto Claims to see if you could be eligible to score thousands in compensation. If you've had any cars, vans or motorbikes on finance between 2007 and 2021, go to ukautoclaims.co.uk to start your free simple check. Loads of you will have overpaid and payouts could be worth thousands, so you've got to look into it. Hit up the link below and check now for free.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. It's now time to predict the 11 for the Champions League fixture. First leg in the semi-final against PSG. I mean, just before we start rolling, Turkey said this is going to be an easy one, but I actually think there is some question marks in some positions of what I would like to see. Definitely know probably won't get it because Arteta's not going to make many changes, but we'll get into this one. Starting with, we've got Laurie joining us as well for this. In goal, simple enough. David Raya, right? Okay, let's do back line. What you want to see and what you think Arteta's going to go with.
Well, I think the conversation around the back line is obviously the temptation to move Lewis Skelly into midfield.
Yeah, I see.
But I'd avoid all that. I'd go the back four we know. Lewis Skelly, Kivior, Saliba, Timber.
That's what you want to see?
What I want, what I think we'll see, okay. I think that's the one.
Okay. Wait, did you say White or Timber?
Timber.
Yeah, Timber.
Timber, yeah.
Back line for you, do you keep it the same? Is it a Timber, Saliba, Kivior and Miles Lewis Skelly?
Yeah, I would. That's been the best back four in recent weeks, and I see no reason to change it. Yes, there is a temptation, Miles Lewis Skelly in midfield, because by trade he is a midfielder. However, he's excelled at left back. I see no reason to change it. We've got options in midfield, which we will discuss later. So yeah, that back four takes care of itself for me.
Okay, can we just have a word quickly on William Saliba from both of you boys? Because
put down the PlayStation and conconcentrate. That's what I say to him. Because, mind you, I don't know if he does play PlayStation.
I was going to say, he's watching this thinking. No,
but you know what it is? The point I'm trying to make, though, the point I'm trying to make is the focus and the concentration needs to be on point. Ability-wise, he hits it out the park. We know that. But in recent weeks, he's been guilty of a couple of real unforced errors that could be really costly. One of those, well, actually, both errors did cost, no?
Yeah. Real Madrid, well, Real Madrid we went through anyway. And then
because Vinny Jr. took the ball off when he scored.
Yeah, scored, I'll say we went through anyway.
And then the other one against Palace, they scored.
Yeah, they scored. They
were costly. What I'm saying, at the end of the day, for this game, the focus needs to be on point. But
I'll be honest, I don't think we need to say it. I get what everyone's saying here, but for me...
We do need to say it.
I don't think we do, because I think post game you're reviewing the match, you say it. You talk about what happened, why didn't we win, and obviously his error was a big part of it. This is someone who we're about to complete our third season with him. He's been almost flawless. Yeah. Almost flawless. He's talked about as one of the best centre backs in the world. He has stepped up in huge games, and even in that Real Madrid game, but he was absolutely class. The problem is he's made that one error. He made it when it didn't really matter. I have no doubt he'll be super switched on, super focused. Sometimes you make those mistakes because they're not about focus. Sometimes it's about almost, call me crazy, it can be too much focus. You're too worried about doing what the manager said and turning inside and picking that pass, so you make the next part, whatever it is. Main mistake, doesn't matter. He's unbelievable. We're so lucky to have him. There's rumours that Saka signed a new deal, and I really hope Saliba's soon to follow, because he's crucial to what we do. So keep doing what he does, I think.
Yeah, and I think Saliba will sign. I think it'll be interesting to see if he is tempted away, but I don't see that being the case. I think he understands that, and he knows that he's a fan favourite. He knows what being at Arsenal can also do for his career. If we go on and obviously win his Champions League, he's competing in the major honours. He's heavily respected amongst everyone because of what he's currently doing at Arsenal Football Club. I don't see another team really tempting. I know Real Madrid were sniffing around at one stage. That might will again. That might prick his ears. That might do, but if I'm honest, I don't know. I hope William Saliba does stay. You're right, maybe not to mention it, because he would know from the past performances that he can't make that mistake against PSG. I would want Ben White right back, Saliba, Kivior, Miles Lewis Skelly. Timber, Saliba, Kivior and Miles Lewis Skelly.
Cool, we all agree on that.
So I'm so sorry. Ben White, Saliba, Kivior, Timber. I want Marcelo Skelly in the midfield. That's what I want. I don't think Arteta's going to go with it. I think he's going to go with what you guys have said. Apologies for that. So yes, I'll put Timber left back and I'll put Ben White in because I want to see Marcelo Skelly in that 8 role. But we'll get into midfield.
You know, in a perfect
right
world where White was fit and playing really well, he was the Ben White last season. I think Arteta would have been unbelievably tempted by that. I mean, he's done it before this season against Mo Salah. He purposely, you know, he had 2 right backs fit in White and Timber, but he went for Partey because he really wanted Timber at left back, and I think Zinchenko's on the bench. So that goes to show that Arteta's not afraid to disrupt the back four if it means getting Timber at left back. I just don't think he'll do it for this game.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I don't think he'll do it for this game. It's just what I would love to see because I think, you know, PSG have really good wide threats. Those 2, I trust Ben White if he's the Ben White of old, and Timber, we already know. I'm not saying I don't trust Miles. I do trust Miles, but I want him in the midfield, which is, again, is more. I'm heaping even more trust in him, putting him in that midfield role. Going into midfield, what do you guys? I'll kind of give a mine. But Laurie, James, what do you like?
So you'd go Lewis, Skelly, Rice, Ødegaard.
Correct.
I am having sleepless nights, except I'm not, over this one.
It's a tough one.
And look, you can't have the conversation without talking about the forward. So here we go for what feels like the 5th time since that Partey yellow card.
Yeah.
One more time. You either go for pure physicality and Merino and Rice behind Ødegaard, and you go for players that know their positions and you run with it and you maintain that physical edge on PSG that we have in most games, even when it's Partey in there. That means Trossard in the 9. Maybe there's more space for him to work. Or you go Jorginho because if he's fit, because then Rice plays the box-to-box, and you've got Merino up front. But I keep asking myself, when I think of players in their most comfortable positions, forget what we've seen over the last month or two, when I just think of football I've watched over the last 3 years, Merino's an 8, Rice is a 6, or he's also an 8, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
And Trossard is a forward. So it's like, are we really going to bring in Jorginho just from the cold to just try and replicate what Partey does?
What did Arteta say to you in
keep doing his
pre-season
thing?
about making I make a change because it's less confusion?
But he lies all the time. He lied to me, Mikel. You lied to me in that press conference because I've seen him make, you know, loads of changes just to avoid a particular situation in games before. He, you know, like, love him to bits. So thanks for answering my question. But like, you know, I think he meant what he was saying at the time. But I just think, deep down, he would just go with what he trusts. Ultimately, he'll fall on that. And I think he trusts Rice box to box and that energy. I think he trusts Merino to replicate what he wants from his 9, which is that more physical presence, you know, occupying defenders. I think he'll go for Jorginho because he has actually been happy to bring Jorginho in. And for what it's worth, I would do that if Jorginho's fit.
Laurie, thank you, James, because now you've got to cover. Yeah, there was a lot to cover, and I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where you go with your midfield then, Laurie. What would you want to see?
Personally, I wouldn't want to see Jorginho in this game. I think
he stepped up in a lot of games, in big games, and he's never looked uncomfortable.
What would you say one of the real attributes of PSG?
That people
energy in their
I think
legs.
their wide play is the most threatening.
Throughout the team, they've got a lot of energy in legs. I think putting Jorginho in there might not be the right thing to do.
I've never actually seen him. Sorry, I keep coming in. I've never actually seen him be, I don't think, really overrun. As much as everyone goes to his age and, you know, can he?
Couldn't agree more.
Honestly, I think he's so intelligent that he never gets exposed in that. Anyway, that's my opinion. But you know,
famous last words. But I couldn't agree with you more. I actually think the thing we were most worried about happening to him at Arsenal has happened once. I remember once in the Carabao Cup against West Ham, and I remember an error against Tottenham that was on the ball. That was it. Honestly, otherwise, I think he's been good.
I agree. All right, so Laurie, so you don't want Jorginho?
No.
Would you pull Mikel Merino?
I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying he has been overrun. We're talking about the best team for the occasion. Right?
Okay, and what's your midfield that you'd like to see?
That's why I'm saying I wouldn't have Jorginho in there because I don't think, with respect, that he'd be the best option in that 8. I think you're looking at Rice, Merino and Ødegaard in the 10.
Okay.
Oh, I changed my mind again.
Oh, no, James, you can't change your mind
now.
now.
So difficult. Because I look at Rice, Merino, Ødegaard and I think, that's balance. And also, remember Ipswich? Trossard was pulling wide and dropping into midfield. And Merino, you look at the assists, you look at like everything he did was from forward position. So you kind of get him in that area too. And we talk about Trossard and Havertz. They've got a good understanding when they play together. And it's quite similar to Merino. Joe, I don't know. And do you know what? I always say this, when I really have no idea, whatever comes out, whatever the 11 is announced to be, I'm not going to go, oh, Mikel should have done this, oh, Mikel. I'll just go, cool. Because it is a difficult one. And he maybe is going to have to tinker more than he wants. But it's a real shame to have Partey available because he was masterful in the 2 Madrid games.
It is a shame, and they're going to have to work extremely hard. If they put Merino in that 8 and Trossard in the 9, they both have to work extremely hard to deal with PSG's threats. Not to say we haven't got threats, but you have to do extra work because you're right. I think
you also have to take into account Jorginho's not played for a few weeks, so to bring him in the cauldron of this game.
It's true.
But he does do
might
that.
not be,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
right.
That's my personal
You're both
opinion.
right. He's been in out the cold, injury.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's fit. We don't know if he does play, if he's fully there. But then you made a great point. We have dropped him into big games before, and he's gone, yeah, all right.
I must admit, I tend to prefer Jorginho when we're trying to hold on to something. So for example, hypothetically speaking, second leg, we're holding on to something, then Jorginho, then he comes into his own. But I think the onus is on us tomorrow to get a result, score some goals. I think Merino is a better option than Jorginho.
I wonder if Jorginho will be the solution for this game. But let's go into the front 3 then, because we've all given the midfield. You kind of stumbled on what you really want to see. I want to see Mars with Skelly, Odegaard and Rice. It's not going to happen. He's probably going to go with, I believe, he's probably going to go, I don't know what Arteta's going to go with.
I think if Jorginho's fit, he'll back Jorginho.
Wow, that'll be huge.
But I don't know if anymore if I would do that after I did 5 minutes ago.
Let's go to the front 3 then, lads. What do you want to see in your 11?
Martinez, Saka, and whoever you want.
I want me. I'm joking. Whoever you want in that 9. So
I see how you do at Baller League.
Yeah, amen.
I would go Saka and Martinelli are pretty much nailed on, I would imagine.
Yep.
Through the middle or the false 9,
Sterling?
I think it's got to be Trossard.
Okay. Just
No,
check.
it's not Sterling.
Because
Trossard, I mean, listen, he's scoring a few goals now. You know what I mean? I think he's second top scorer now, behind Havertz this season. I think he's got 8 Premier League goals. His last couple of games, he's looked quite sharp in front of goal. I think he's earned that spot if Mourinho's not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Trossard.
Trossard is such an interesting one, isn't it? Because you're right, he's second, top goal scorer. But then sometimes you see him and you play him, and he's just like, you want more. He's had an off game. Recently, he has been on form, and I think he's a very good
You very
finisher.
rarely see a Leandro Trossard that will dominate games or impose himself on games. What you tend to see with Trossard is he will flit in and out, but he's what I call a clutch player. He
Might
will
get
give
a
that
moment,
goal or that assist. So
Very disrespected player, I think, Trossard. Came in, £27 million, bit of a market opportunity, big goals in big games in big moments of the season. I think I'm not saying, listen, I'm torn on whether he should start, but almost some people, when you float the idea, they go, no, you can't. And I think, hold on, for the fee, the situation, and how he stepped up when needed, in and out of the team. This is a player who does not get regular in and out minutes. So the fact he can deliver those numbers is impressive itself. I'm a big Trossard fan. I think maybe it's time to move on in the summer and then we go in a different direction. But for £27 million from Brighton as an opportunity, he's been great.
I think he feels a bit disrespected as well. When you look at the way he carries himself when he's celebrations and whatnot. If he hasn't been playing, because you're right, he gets a few minutes on and off the bench. If Merino plays in the midfield though, he's your only option, Trossard. You didn't have another solution to that. Okay. And then obviously that is our 11s, but we didn't mention Nwaneri. It's all game state. You can't just say I hope he play. I'm sure everyone wants to see him play, but I was quite surprised he didn't get many minutes against Madrid. I would like to see him at some stage.
You weren't the only one. I think a lot of us were. I mean, he'd scored in the previous game, and then listen, I think we all know he's not going to start tomorrow. Saka will get the starting berth. But it's come on your eyes.
Irons,
Fair enough.
I've lost track. Yeah, so as you know, I'm a big fan. I've labelled him the most exciting talent in the Premier League, and I maintain that. He's not played much in recent weeks, but I'm sure if he gets an opportunity to do his thing, he will grab it.
I will say, I wanted Nwaneri to play more recently.
Same.
When you really stop and think about it though, Saka's injury meant Nwaneri played a lot more football than we expected him to, December to February, let's say, and to March. And I'll be honest, I say this with all but love and appreciation for the kid of what he's doing at 17, 18. Don't think he did great at Old Trafford. I don't think he really... Did he come on against Chelsea? I think he did okay. But what I'm saying is, I can't remember the last real stand-up performance from Nwaneri. And okay, it's coming in and out with performances. I'm not being critical.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, I think we need to appreciate that at that young an age, this isn't just getting up to speed with first-team football. Think of the mental overload. Think of everything you're balancing in your life. I don't know, is he still at school? Yeah. You're now training with the first team. You suddenly go from, I'm in the academy, I'm doing my thing, it's great, to actually Arsenal fans are calling for you to be on that pitch. and the Sky cameras are on you every week. You probably want, people probably want to interview every week. There's just so much more going on. And I think when a player is taken out, we don't quite understand, because we think, well, on talent, he deserves to be there. There's probably a lot more happening, just in terms of like the actual management of the player. So, because the season ultimately, and Saka's back now, and the Premier League has had very little to play for, I've not been too disappointed in Nwaneri not getting as many minutes. But for next season, I expect him to kick on, and he will very soon be a key player in this team, because he's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
I think with young players, you've always got to acknowledge that with the talent comes inconsistency. That's just a byproduct of
pressure.
Being a very young player. So he's not going to shine every single game, but the talent is unmistakable, and I believe in him. I think if he's given a run, I think he can produce.
The talent might be the best I've ever seen at 17.
He's unbelievable.
Might be, I need to think, but yeah.
Unbelievable. Like I mentioned before, he's got a brother in the academy who's also apparently just as good, if not better. So it's unbelievable. We'll have to see what happens with Emerson, his brother. But Nwaneri, like you said, the most exciting player.
For me, the most exciting talent in the Premier League right
early
now.
on, I'd pay just alone to watch him play. He's phenomenal. But listen, you wasn't in the previous to get your score prediction for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, I heard you guys say 2-1, and it's kind of difficult for me to see past that, to be honest, because as much as I hate to conceive it, I could see PSG scoring, you know what I mean? I hope that's not the case, but I could do. So, yeah, but I am confident and Arsenal could get the win. Listen, these two legs are going to be tight, man. It could come down to the odd error here, the hero there, the odd bit of skill, which is why, again, I mentioned a bit about concentration and focus from not just Saliba, but everyone in the team, because, you know what I mean, the margins for error are going to be tight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 2-1 you've gone with, yeah? 2-1. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Who we've missed out? Is there any players that you really want to see starting in this team against PSG come Tuesday night? It's the big one, people, a massive one. I actually feel like a set piece might be the deterrent factor for us to get the win come tomorrow. But let's hope that is the case, or we just absolutely batter them like we did against Real Madrid. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? It's a lot to ask for, but come on, Arsenal, we believe in you, we'll be behind you, and let's hope we get the win. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video on your way out, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.